I've had a lot of people stop by the chat and also in my comment section on YouTube asking, what skills should I choose? What skills should I choose? What works best for you? Can you give me maybe some like pointers on what skills I should be looking for, what I shouldn't be looking for? So today, I'm going to take you through what I have so far for my skills. And I just want to give you kind of a reasoning behind why I built my skills the way that I did. I want to start off by saying that I am playing greensman to get the additional putt path and putt weight. Putting is so key in the game this year. The putt weight is so key to have as high as possible, at least if you're playing on a master level. So it is something that I took to give me a jump start on that for the putt path and putt weight. But that leads to me making a build that's kind of built slightly around it, but I feel like this could potentially work for a lot of different archetypes and builds that people are creating. Now, I'll say I will not be talking about the hybrids. So personally, I am not using hybrids. I am using woods and then irons. The reason I'm not using hybrids is because I do not want to waste the points. I don't want to waste the points on the hybrids, and I don't want to waste the fittings on the hybrids and the cost of fittings for the hybrids as well, especially if I'm only using like a 3 hybrid. I'd be wasting all of these points for one club and a club that I'm not going to be using a ton compared to irons and woods. Now, the way that this works, and I kind of talked about it in my last video, I'll put a link up to the last video in the corner for where you should start with your skills and fittings and everything. I suggest that you do not put any of these skills in until you're about 20, 25, 30, just so you can kind of understand what you're lacking in your game some. Completely up to you whether you just want to start throwing them in right away. I would say maybe just hold off, get a feel for the archetype, the build that you're making, and see which of these skills work best for you. Now, the way that it works is you have to spend a set amount of skills in each column or just in any column as you unlock them. You just have to spend skills to go up to the next column. It'll look something like this starting off. So you have to spend 4 points in this first column to unlock the next one. Then you have to spend 8 points between the two to unlock the next one. 12 points to unlock the next one. 16, 20, 24 total points. So you just have to be level 24 to get the 24 points to spend to get the last one. So for this, I played to my strengths. So I did normal shots receive a swing path boost off the tee. Again, I have to spend four points. So I said, you know, if I miss 2 fairways in regulation, which happens quite a bit, honestly. I miss a lot of fairways in regulation. Not a lot, but there's some rounds where I'll miss like 40% of the fairways. So I want the swing path boost. And to deactivate it, it's 2 fairways in a row. There are times where I'll hit one, miss one, hit one, miss one. So to have that swing path boost potentially for an entire round, I think is pretty good. So I usually take 3 points into Trailblazer. I take my lone point into Airologist. I used to put 3 into this, but I've kind of gotten my splash timing down pretty well. I might come back to this and put some points into it later just to get the 2 poor swing timing. But I mean, I just have this kind of as a 4th point to get me to the next column. And if I do end up having a pretty bad day in the bunker and have some poor swing timings out of the splash shot, then I have that there for me just in case. A lot of the other ones and why I didn't select them is I feel that they're kind of throwaway a little bit. So like normal shots receive a lie range boost from the heavy rough. How often are you using a wood out of the heavy rough? And will a lie range boost actually even help you coming out of that rough? I think that's a kind of a throwaway. Hybrids, I think, are just throwaway skills for me. And this is score bogey or worse twice in a row. Sometimes for me, again, not trying to toot my own horn, but just for me personally, sometimes I don't score a bogey or worse for like 3 rounds. So for that, I felt, again, kind of throwaway points. And then the last one is receive a putt path boost if you miss putts from within 5 feet. That I don't have that too often. So that, again, is another one that I skip. But if it is something that you do often, if you do miss putts within 5 feet, it may be something to kind of give you a little bit of boost to that putt path. Putt path is pretty important. So it is good to have that. And that takes me into the next column. And the first one that I take is the calculator level 3. All I need to do is land it within 13 yards of the pin, and I get a shaping boost of all pitches, including a pitching wedge, from the fairway with my irons. I like that additional shaping boost. It allows me to draw it, fade it a little bit more, pop it up, lower it a little bit more, It just allows me to control the ball around the green a little bit better. So I take 3 points of that. The next one I take is a perfect pitch. Pitch shots receive a spin boost. Again, I pitch a ton in this game. I know some people like to take it to like a normal level where they're just taking a full swing in. I like the pitch shots. You can spin them pretty good. You can choose to roll them if you want, and they roll very nicely because I want that additional spin just in case I need to stick it.
That's what she said.
Next to the pin when I'm close to the green. I get 2 birdies, and I get it until I get a par or worse. And sometimes I'll get par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie. So again, this is something that could potentially stay the entire round for me. And even if I do score par or worse twice in a row, I just need 2 more birdies sometime in the round to get this back. So this is something that I take as well. It's pretty important for the way that my game works. So it's something that I want. For the rest of these, so this one's receive a putt path boost just by sinking 2 putts from within 5 feet. Or 2 putts in a row from within 5 feet. I would say that this is definitely, it can be done. But again, there's going to be times where you're not going to have a lot of putts from within 5 feet. Sometimes they're just dropping for you. And there is something a little bit further on that I think, for me, spending those points a little bit better in my circumstances. This is a prime candidate for me, though, to come back and spend once I have more skill points. But I usually hold off on it. I'm already into column 3, so I usually skip it. I can take the transition boost from the fairway with my woods, but a lot of the time, I'm hitting my woods full bore. I'm not partialing a lot from the fairway. A lot of the times, it's just hitting it full bore. So transition boost kind of doesn't really mean too much. I usually skip. I used to take fairway in regulation finder, but then I found I'm not really shot shaping my drives that much. Like, I'm not needing to draw or fade a ton. I mean, not as much as I already have with the greensman. So this was something I just didn't really need. So I also skipped this one. If you find yourself shot shaping a lot with your driver, could be something to do because you just have to hit 2 fairways in regulation and you get it. But I wasn't really using it, so I skipped it. And for this column, this is just, it was kind of something just to get me to the next column. I took 2 into tee time level 2. Normal shots receive a timing boost off the tee. I have to have poor timing 4 times. Poor is like poor, like dark gray poor. Something that I do a bit, if that's 4 times in a round, sometimes. So I usually take it just to kind of get me back on track. I take that timing boost. But I took this just kind of to get me to the next column so I can start spending later. So in a way, it was kind of throwaway, but again, another prime candidate for me to come back and spend points on kind of down the road. And the reason why I took these is because I feel like all of the others just really aren't good. Splash shots receive a timing boost from the bunker. I think I've maybe used a splash shot with a pitching wedge, 9 iron, 8 iron. I think it goes up to 7 iron. I think I've used it once in like 120 hours. And the next one is a putt weight boost on the green. What you have to do is you have to miss 2 putts between 5 and 10 feet. Something that I, again, do not struggle too much with. Again, another prime candidate to come back and maybe put some points into. But I feel like there's more points down the line that are a little bit more important for me. If you already have 50 points, though, might be something to look into. Completely up to you and your game. I'm probably going to come back to it maybe at some point once I get the other 9 points. For now, though, I'm skipping. The next one is off the deck. So we are in the when you're doing good column. So catch up, good, catch up, good, catch up, good, passives. All right, driver off the deck. Anybody who watches me knows I absolutely love driver off the deck. The only problem with it, there might be 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 7 straight rounds I don't use it. It depends on the course you're playing, and because of that, I don't take it. I leave it. You can hit a 3-wood really freaking long. Once you get the power onto those woods, I skip. I do overtake the human metronome just because there are courses where there's a ton of par 3s where I'm using a 3-wood, 5-wood, or there are some par 4s that I'm using a 3-wood, 5-wood. So all I need to do is just have good timing 3 times. After that, I probably don't have poor timing with my woods too often. So because of that, I just get it 3 times, and then I get myself the extra poor timing just in case I do hit 2 poor timing shots with my woods. I just take the extra point just to give it a chance, in case I miss one. I give myself an extra. To get that extra shot timing, I take the human metronome. Next one I take is 2 into irons, because this one is just hitting in to a headwind. So all I have to do is be hitting into a wind of 10 miles an hour or greater, and I get a flight boost. You're going to be hitting into the wind a lot. And the reason why I don't level this up to level 3 is because it's just hit 2 greens in regulation in a row. Okay. So I hit 2 greens in regulation in a row, and then the next hole I'm shooting back into a headwind. So that's just 2 greens in regulation in a row again. I felt that was kind of almost a little redundant, because if I just hit 2 greens in a regulation, then the next hole I could be hitting into a headwind again, and I just get it right back. And then until I hit 2 greens in regulation again. To me, it felt redundant. I mean, I know that there's times where I just don't hit greens in regulation. That's certain. Then we have dialed in. So chip shots receive a timing boost within 26 yards of the pin. I only have 1 point in this for now, but again, it's another prime candidate for me coming back and spending more points in it. So all I have to do is land within 7 yards of the pin, something that I do often. And unless it's an extremely short chip, I usually am pretty good on my timing. So for now, I just kept it to 1. I have had times where I have kept dialed in the entire match. And next up, we have a putt weight boost called goal weight. I told you not to take this one. It was a receive a putt weight boost for missing 2 putts within 5 to 10 feet. Again, for me personally, not something that I do too often. But this one is sink 2 putts between 5 and 10 feet. Something that I do quite often. And because of that, I'm like, yep, give me 3 of this. Because the deactivation is score par or worse twice in a row. Again, you could go birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par, and just keep resetting it over and over and over again. And if you do get, 2 pars, let's say you get 2 pars, right after you get it, just 2 more putts within 5 to 10 feet and you get it again. So I took 3 points into this just because putt weight is so important. And 5 to 10 footers, you're hitting a lot of them. A lot more than within 5 feet, that's for sure. So for the next one, we have another flight boost, and this is on the driver. Now, if you're using greensman or if you're using rhythm, highly suggest taking this, and I highly suggest taking 3. Just because you're hitting into a headwind of 5 miles an hour or greater a lot. Take the additional flight boost, take the additional power off the tee. You do have to hit 2 greens in regulation in a row, but let's say you hit 2 greens in regulation in a row, and the next hole, you're hitting into a headwind again. You got it again. This is a very good one to have. Just getting the extra distance is huge. So I take 3 into that. And another big reason why I take 3 into this is because there's none of these I like. None of them. I do not like any of these catch-up skills at all. And it starts with a shaping boost, but the shaping boost is only for punch shots, only in the heavy rough. So that one, I just feel worthless. Hybrids, throw them out. Don't need them. Let's roll. Another one. Do not take this, okay? Don't take this. Normal shots receive a roll boost from the heavy rough. You could take it at your own peril, but there's going to be times where you're going to have this. You're going to be hitting from the heavy rough, and you're going to be coming down a downslope, and this ball is going to move even faster than you want it to. Highly, highly, highly suggest that you do not take any of the roll boosts. And then receive a roll boost on the green. In 2K21, I would say this would be good. Faster greens sometimes in 2K21 were better. But the way that these greens roll out, no. Just no. I don't want them. I don't want the roll boosts. I don't want my ball to go faster. Just skip it. Don't take it. Tea and crush it!
She'll invite us right in for tea and strumpets.
Yeah, take this. Normal shots receive a power boost off the tee. Take all 3. Hit it 275 or better. I mean, that's pretty easy. Score par or worse twice in a row. Again, you can go birdie par, birdie par, birdie par, and keep it the whole time. Let's say you do score 2 pars, though, and the next drive you just hit it 275, and you just get it again. So I say take tee and crush it. I say take it to level 3. The extra power is king off the tee for any build, really. Just take it. Normal shots receive a swing path boost from the fairway. Could be good. I say I struggle more with tempo than I do with the swing path. And it's a pretty big ask. Score 3 birdies or better. There would be rounds maybe I don't score any birdies. So to me, I felt like it was kind of a tough one to sell for the points. Might be something I come back to, but for now, I'm skipping it. Normal shots receive a power boost from the fairway. I don't want more power, honestly, from my irons. at all. I'm going to be fine tuning my irons to a point where I have fittings to do that. But I like my distances where they're at. There's a reason why I have those distances currently. So getting a power boost from the fairway to me just seemed a little redundant, because I could always just partial a wood if I really wanted to, if I'm that in between distances. So this felt like another one of those throwaways. And normal shots receive a power boost from the fairway. Again, you want your wedges not to go that far, just because you want those in between. Like, you can take a pitching wedge and partial it, but usually you can get into a spot where you are pitching pretty cleanly at all of the different yardages. So again, I kind of like my power where it's at with my wedges through my fittings. And then we have receive a putt path boost on the green. Again, you're going to be putting a lot. The putt path is pretty key. I would say the putt weight's a little bit more key, especially at master or below. If you do play on legend, I would say putt path is even more important than putt weight, because that line is so small.
That's what she said.
But either way, I'm putting a lot. I'm going to take the additional putt path boost. I have to land it within 3.7 yards. I like that putt path. I'm taking it. And that brings us to the passive. So these are going to depend on your game a lot more than what to take, what not to take. For the driver, I asked myself, how often do I partial my driver? Hardly fucking ever. And because of that, I'm like, do I need transition? Not really. Do I need the swing path? I mean, I could take the swing path for sure. It would definitely help with my, slight pushes and pulls. But the biggest one is timing. I mean, it's always timing. That has the biggest miss between fast and slow. I want the timing boost because I don't want to hit as many of those bad fasts, bad slows. These do not stack. It is one or the other. So if you want one in transition, you take level 1. Do you want just swing path? Take level 2. Do you want just timing? Take level 3. The next one is for the woods, and it's from the fairway. Now, I do partial a lot of my woods, so transition could be good for me. I'm fairly good at my partial power, though. I can usually get it within a good region. So again, timing for me, that's the big thing. So I took level 3 timing boost. It is off the fairway. Give me that timing so that I can really dial in all of my woods coming into par 5s. So I took the wood right off the gate, timing level 3. Irons is the same thing from the fairway. Again, it's all timing for me. I am more worried about the timing for a lot of these just because I'm usually swinging these mainly full power. And because I'm usually swinging them full power on normal shots, I want the timing boost. This is one that I am going to end up taking up to level 3 because, again, it's only normal shots. We're not talking pitch or flop or splash or anything like that. These are just all full shots. Eventually, I am going to take this to level 3. When I get 2 more points, I'm going to put it up to level 3. But I felt, let's just take the transition just in case. Sometimes I do partial normal shots. So, now with it. We'll just take the transition for now. I'll just get that up to level 3 once I get the additional skill points. And then we can go back for the rest. So for now, this is just kind of I'll just put one into transition. And then for the dough, roll, putt weight, and putt path. So I chose level 2 because I think putt weight, especially master or below, is the most important about your putting. It is such a tight window this year that any additional putt weight I can get, I want. I will not take this to level 3. I get putt path quite a bit if I want it back here. I want the putt weight. It's all about the putt weight for me. Now, again, there's some that I'm probably going to go back and spend for sure. But I feel like there are some in here that are just kind of not worth it at all. Hopefully I outline that a little bit for you, kind of going through all of these skills for you today. This was my thought process going into it. It may be different for you, just dependent on your game. And I mean, maybe you take this with a grain of salt too, just because, I mean, I've been playing this game for a long time. I thought that I was going to be picking a lot more in the, like, when I'm doing good. But I found myself actually spending some points on when I'm doing bad, just because some of them are actually really good, like just hitting into a headwind. But I'll go back and take some extras, probably mainly in putting if I do it. Definitely in this one too. But the putting is key. I'll probably end up taking some of these. But it's up to you what you want to spend them on. This was just kind of my thought process going in to the skills after playing. I mean, what am I at? 128 hours. Jesus. Still not level 50, by the way. I spend way too much time on the driving range and working on tutorials, I swear. Oh my God. More tutorials are coming. There's probably going to be 3 or 4 of them just in the next week, so be on the lookout for those. I hope you found this helpful. I'll definitely be coming out with a video about fittings too, once I kind of get a lot more testing with the fittings. You have to grind this game a lot to get those fittings, so I'm testing them, I'm playing around with them, I'm playing with different archetypes and different builds too. But I will be coming out with a fittings guide as well, once I have a little bit more of a firm grasp on it.
That's what she
said. The abilities though, or the skills though, I have a pretty firm grasp on, so I wanted to get this out to you just in case you're kind of having a little trouble on what skills to pick. But I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please leave a like on the video. It helps me out, helps the channel, helps the video reach more people through the algorithm. I greatly appreciate you. If you want to stay up to date with more PGA Tour content, more tutorials, the whole works, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 10K right now. It has been one hell of a month, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support that you have shown me. Comment down below. Maybe you have like a different view of the skills. Maybe there's something that you would rather take over what I've selected. Let me know in the comments what you feel about the skills. Maybe your thought process behind the skills that you chose. Let me and your fellow man down in the comments know. But I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you on the next one.